Why did Anita Baker have beef with Luther Vandross? Here's my disclosure. I'm a fan of both Anita Baker and Luther Vandross. They're two legends. Anita is one of the greatest songstresses of all time. She's in my personal favorites list. The late, great Luther Vandross had a voice that was second to none. If you're ranking top R&B male vocalists of all time, Luther must be in the top half of your top 10, in my opinion. With that said, at one time years ago in the late 80s, when both of them were at their peaks, they had beef. My wife didn't know the story I'm about to tell. I learned of it years ago, but never dug that deep into the details. Until now. This is part 1 of a 3-part series, so let's get into it. We're going back to the 80s. Allow me to give you some context. It's 1987. Luther, a seasoned artist, is one of the best R&B vocalists in the game in terms of voice quality and sales. His 5th album, Give Me the Reason, has been out for just under a year and has sold well. At this point in his career, whatever Luther releases is pretty much guaranteed to go platinum. Each of his albums have been certified platinum or double platinum. Luther is consistently a strong draw on the live concert circuit. Anita Baker's career is in the middle of a wild whirlwind. Her 2nd album, Enraptured, has taken the music industry by storm. By the summer of '87, the iconic album was approaching 3 times platinum. The significance of this, particularly for a female R&B artist, cannot be overstated. The album was a huge success. Its impact took the music world by surprise. Anita won a Grammy for Best R&B Female Vocalist and has rode the wonderful wave of the album's success, touring in the US and Europe as a result of its reach. And she happens to be engaged to be married. So, in 1987, both artists were hot, and both are slated to perform in the 26th annual Ohio Valley Kool Festival. 2 great nights at Cincinnati Riverfront Stadium. Look at this incredible lineup, and keep in mind we're talking late 80s, and all of these entertainers were at the top of their game at that time. On Friday, it's Luther and Anita, Midnight Star, Lakeside, Shirley Murdoch, and then on Saturday, Patti LaBelle, Freddie Jackson, Cameo, Climax, One Way. Wow, that's a big time lineup considering the era. So Anita and Luther are slated to take the stage on the same night. The Cincinnati Enquirer does a nice write-up on Anita Baker. The Kool Festival kicks off on the night of that publication. And the newspaper gives short promos of each act slated to perform during the 2-day festival. Here's what they said about Luther. A festival favorite since 1982. And Anita? Well, she's so hot, she might burn the grand finale. Here's a Friday night festival preview Walter Tunis wrote for the Lexington Herald Leader. Baseball takes a breather this weekend as the sounds of pop, soul, and modern rhythm and blues takes over Riverfront Stadium for the 26th annual Ohio Valley Kool Festival. Pop soul sensation Luther Vandross, a regular visitor to Cincinnati concert halls, as well as the last few Kool festivals, returns to headline tonight's lineup. Vandross remains hot stuff both on the road and on the charts. He has 4 million-selling albums to boast about, while his duet single with Gregory Hines recently hit #1 on the Billboard Black Music charts. In early June, the singer also played 4 sold-out shows at New York's Madison Square Garden. Playing second fiddle to Vandross tonight will be Anita Baker, one of the hottest new singers in any field. While her Enraptured album has been a hot seller for more than a year on the R&B charts, She also grabbed honors as Best Female Singer in the 1987 Rolling Stones Critics and Readers poll. Second fiddle, huh? Well, here's what Cliff Radel of the Cincinnati Enquirer wrote about Friday night's festivities, published the next day. Anita Baker thrills 40,000 at Kool Fest. Cincinnati was unbearably hot Friday night everywhere but inside Riverfront Stadium. At the ballpark, everything was cool. The 26th annual Ohio Valley Kool Festival was open for 2 nights of music business before a record-tying first night crowd of 40,000. That total matched the record set at the stadium in 1975. Friday night's lineup was practically an all-Ohio affair. The only non-black guy on the 5-act bill was the festival's headliner and grand finale, crooner Luther Vandross. The native New Yorker has been the star of the 2-night event since 1982. Vandross' Kool Festival supremacy was severely challenged Friday night by the Toledo-born, Detroit-based songstress Anita Baker. Even before Anita hit the stage, a cry could be heard through the stadium, "Anita! Anita!" Baker's voice is a splendid instrument. She has great control over her clear high notes, moody head tones, warm throaty sounds, and smartly scattered ad-libs, all of which are colored by a passionate heart. When it comes to phrasing, there isn't a female vocalist in the business who can match her buttery smoothness. So whether she was singing Call Up in the Rapture, the opening number in her 48-minute performance, or the torch song You Bring Me Joy, she made each note an uncommonly delightful experience. Okay, so Luther and Anita shine in the Friday night lineup of the 1987 Kool Fest. Both performers are popular with the crowd of 40,000. And because of that exhilarating Friday night, 2 seeds were planted. 1. Luther and Anita will co-headline a 3-month, 50-city tour in the fall of the following year. And 2. Things are set up for a fierce competition for stage supremacy, night after night, between these 2 soul superstars. Okay, so let's move forward to the fall of 1988. Luther's 6th album, Any Love, is hot off the press. The album's self-titled track is strongly connecting with Luther's audience. As far as Anita Baker, her highly anticipated 3rd album, Giving You the Best That I Got, is delayed but will be released in a few weeks. The tour is announced to be co-headlined by Luther and Anita and scheduled to kick off in Landover, Maryland, in the DMV area, which is where I grew up, by the way. And this is the late 80s, when Washington, D.C. is still considered Chocolate City, for the most part, and one of the hottest markets for live black music entertainment. That part is still true, I suppose. Anyway, there's excitement in the air. High fan anticipation for this tour around the country. For example, in the DC market, even though back-to-back dates were already scheduled, a 3rd night was added due to strong demand. By the way, apparently, the name of the tour was called The Heat. Kinda ironic, considering the tension that would go down in the months ahead. The summer of '88 was over, but it was about to get very hot, in more ways than one, on the Heat tour. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you check out part 2 of the series. Soulful Charts, we got the receipts. Peace.